there any assurance that he is going to remove all those hurdles? We don't know. We do not know whether we have to remove and surrender, or he is going to remove and allow us to surrender, or whether they go on their own and then we can surrender. We have no clue about those things, whether they are really, going where and what and how. But in this Charama Sloka, he verbally spoke out how he is dealing with those, the obstacles before surrendering to him. And that too, verbally he is making very clear. That is why this Charama Sloka becomes elaboration of the Dvaya Mantra. This is the elaboration of Dvaya Mantra. And these are the issues that we need to know very clearly before achieving him, and they are really secret. People got really confused with this Charama Sloka. And many people, I think, probably you also know well, Sarva Dharma Parityaja, just to give away everything. So we just gave up everything. So many people say that. Everything, all the dharmas you have to just give up. All the dharmas you should give up. Don't do this and that. And the other day, we were in ISKCON center. After the whole Kalyanotsavam was over, then the one who is in charge of that, he was saying, Lord Krishna said, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamikam Saranam Brajo. And he said, just give up all the things, all your actions, all your religious practices, and just give up everything. And just give up all the devatas and stuff, and this and that, and just surrender to it. Mamikam Saranam Brajo. And just surrender unto me. That's all. I just take care of it. This one thing. What did he say? What did he say to give up? It's very confusing thing. People nowadays, I think they feel free of elaborating anything, describing anything, commenting on anything. I think probably it is only Bhagavad Gita which was spoken by many people with many tones, and many commentaries were there on that. Even the person who knows ABCD also speaks on Bhagavad Gita. Even one doesn't know ABCD also speaks on Bhagavad Gita. Less knowing people speak more about Bhagavad Gita. This is surprising. I'm sure that Bhagavad Gita is only the one which was spoken by many, many people in many, many ways, and many more commentaries like that. Because, it is pretty simple, very lucid, like Sanskrit. At least you can speak on that. Sometime, once we were, it was a very big person, not a small person, it was a big gathering also. A person was talking, Bhagavad Gita, the first line of Bhagavad Gita itself is the essence of everything and teaches something about the life. Do you know what is the first line of Bhagavad Gita? Dharma Kshetre Kuru Kshetre. Finish. You don't even know any other thing. Dharma Kshetre Kuru Kshetre. Finish. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. You know what it says? Kshetre Kshetre Dharma Kuru. Dharma Kshetre Kuru Kshetre. Kshetre Kshetre Dharma Kuru. That's all the life. कहाँ भी जाओ, जो भी करो, धर्म करते रहो, हो गया बस. Kshetre Kshetre Dharma Kuru. Finish. This is all Bhagavad Gita about. How simple he made Bhagavad Gita. To understand Bhagavad Gita, there are so many sages, thousands of years, they're breaking their heads. And he made so simple, Kshetriya Dharma Kuru. That means not in every place, only Kshetriya Dharma Kuru. When you go to the Kshetra, then only Kuru Dharma, otherwise you can do Adharma. They don't have, any kind of common sense. Like, how it becomes a dharma. In Hindi you may say dharma. But in Sanskrit it never becomes a dharma. Either you have to say dharma, or in other language you have to say dharmam. Yeah. There will be some kind of, suffixes, next to the word. It never becomes dharma. Dharma. And when you want to say that the dharma kuru, then it becomes dharmam kuru. There will be a zero. There will be a purnam next to dharma. Then only the word becomes in full. And if you want to really say that the kshetriya, dharmam kuru, that's how you have to speak. But there is no word dharma. Dharmam kshetriya is not the word that how the Bhagavad Gita began. How did it begin? Dharma kshetriya. And no visarga, not any zero, any purna. Then how can you say kshetriya dharma kuru? It's not Hindi Krishna talking about it. And in Sanskrit he is talking, he is speaking. Now why I mentioned this, people take all kinds of freedom in giving the descriptions of Bhagavad Gita. And then they say, this is what all about Bhagavad Gita. So also the Charama Slokam. Because, any common man can easily understand Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Give all the dharmas. Mamekam Saranam Praja. Surrender me alone. Aham Okreshyami. I just release you from everything. Pretty easy, Why unnecessarily going to temple? Why unnecessarily taking snana? And why unnecessarily just cleaning the tongue and putting the bottu, keeping the mala, dressing in a particular way. All these are karmic activities, right? Why do all this kind of stuff? Just give it. Sarva Dharman Pari. Krishna gave very clear, just blank check to Sarva Dharman Pari. Just give up all the dharmas. Finish. No rule, nothing. Just you can do whatever just you want. Just surrender to God and do whatever just you want. These are the people start describing the things. And if you know the great Ramanujacharya, who was highly scholarly, while he was pretty young, able to describe the real meanings of the Upanishad mantras to his own Guruji, from whom he was learning. When he was interpreting in a wrong way, it was the Ramanujacharya who said, sir, this is the right meaning of the mantra. And when even the Guruji cannot say no to that after listening from Ramanujacharya and appreciated and endured the greatness of Ramanujacharya. At the young age, when Ramanuja was very young, like 12 years, 14 years old, such Ramanuja, after reaching his 40s, and when he became a sannyasi, just to know the meaning of this Charama Sloka, Sarva Dharma Parityajya, he went to a great scholar called Gosti Purna, who used to live in a place called Gosti Puram, Tirupotiyur, a place in Tamil Nadu, while he was living in Sri Lanka. He used to live in Sri Lanka. And the Gosti Purna used to live in the Tirupotiyur. The distance between two places is almost 200 miles. But Mahapurna, his own guru, from whom actually he learned all the things, he of course gave the Dvaya mantra. And And he gave all the elaboration of the Dvaimatra and stuff. And then Ramanujacharya Swami asked to do the meaning of the Charama Slokam as well. But the Mahapurna said, okay, but you have to get the Dvaimatra, the Charama Slokas meaning from Goshti Purna, because he is the master of that. You have to go and just get it from him. Being a sannyasi, Ramanujacharya, and at that age of his maturity, and being that intellect, he said, okay, let me go. But he is a sannyasi, all the way he has to go on foot. He has to go on foot only. Because sannyasis are not supposed to be carried by man. So no palanquin business. And no animal. Riding on horseback or on an elephant back is not permitted for sannyasis. So he has to obviously go on foot. He started going on foot, and all the 200 miles he walked. And Ramanujacharya was described so beautiful, just like a gold, just like a gold fruit. That was the form of Ramanuja, Kamaniya Gatra. And while he was just walking, and he has to observe certain upavasas. And when upavasas and walking, made him so weak, but he never minded going to that distance to get the real meaning of the Charama Slokam. And people on the way, they used to feel so sorry for Ramanuja taking that much of pain to know the meaning of such a sloka. Then they understood how valuable it is. And then they are requesting him, if it is such a difficult thing for persons like you, what about us then? How can we get and how can we saved? What about our fate then? We are not sincere, that sincere as you are. And for you also it will be even difficult, then we won't be saved at all. That's how they used to think. But Ramanuja used to give promise, okay, if at all I am blessed, I'll give it to you. Don't worry. If I am blessed. And he went there all the way. And he waited for the Guru. And Guru, after questioning after interview is over, and then he used to say, okay, you come after 6 months, then we will see. And Raman used to return all the way to Sri Lanka. Because 6 months, where can he stay? Where can he stay? He used to come back. And exactly by the 6th month finishes, then he used to go there again to the Guruji and ask. And he used to ask some other questions and then say, okay, after 3 months we can check. 17 times he went front and forth from Sri Lanka to Tirukostur, all the way. You can understand how committed Ramanuja was to know it from a Guru, from a what you call it, a bona fide Guru. And even then, during the 18th time, also when he went, he took so many bridges from him. I don't reveal it to anybody. And I keep it all secret and so on and so forth, so many things. But all that he said, you only can come, and you can come only with your Dandam and Kamandalu, Dandam and Kashaya. He said, you can come with Dandam, not Dandam and Kamandalu, Dandam and Kashaya, Dandam and Jalapavitram. Only with those 2 things that you can come, with nothing else. But then also Ramanuja went with 2 people. One with Puresa and Dasarathi. Puresa Mishra was one of his disciples. And Dasarathi is a Mudaliyandan was another disciple. With both of them he went. Then he asked, when I said you should only come alone, you should come, why you brought these 2 guys with you? And then he said, one is my Danda and one is my Jalapavitram. So just I came. You said only with 2 things you can come. So I came only with 2 things. And then Guruji just revealed the secret of this Charama Sloka to Ramanujacharya. You understand how difficult then it would be? I mean, knowing it clearly, you know, how difficult it is. Such a difficult Charama Sloka was revealed to us by the great Acharya, Pillai Lokacharya, you know, who lived during 13th century, and in a very lucid form. But because the language that was in use in the part where he was living was Tamil, so he made the Tamil sentences and as sutras, and then just he spoke the entire, the secret meaning of the Charama Sloka, which is now our topic for discussion. People used to keep it very secret by knowing the value of its meaning. But after Ramanuja, it was Ramanuja, of course, who just brought it to light by understanding the miseries we go through by not knowing that. If we know that, we will be saved. If we do not know that, we have to still cross through the miseries of this samsara, death and birth and death and birth cycle, and then again we have to go to somewhere else in the life cycle. So Ramanuja saw the miseries of us, and then his heart was just bleeding for us. But the previous acharyas know the value of the mantra, and just they were keeping it secret. And Ramanuja just distributed to, not only he distributed, but also he instructed all his disciples to go to any corner of the world and just give it to anyone who is really a seeker. So for all the seekers, for all the truth seekers, you can just give his mantra's meaning without any hesitation. Yes, I permit. That is the greatness of Ramanujacharya. That's how it came out. But after Ramanujacharya, they used to say the meanings. They used to reveal the meanings to only their own groups of people. But it was the Pillai Lokacharya Swami who was the fifth one in the lineage, who thought of just putting it on the paper and just giving it to the people so that people anywhere can read it, anywhere can understand, anywhere can they appreciate that. So he formed the sutras and he presented the meaning of the Charama Sloka in almost 100 sutras. That is Charama Sloka. And those sutras are given to you on the paper. Do you have those papers with you? Or you didn't? And you can have them. You can take it later. You can collect it later, okay? Usually all the sutras were in Tamil. And we wrote the Tamil in English so that anybody can read them. We can translate that, of course. We have to translate it obviously into English. We will do it. Why should we give you the Tamil version when we do not know the Tamil language at all? Is it really necessary to read the Tamil version and break our head? You may think like that. But it is necessary for us to know, because when it comes out from a person, the first knowledge, when it comes out, is called Upajna. How do you call it? Upajna. Upajna means when some secret or some topic, when initially comes from a person, is called Upajna. When that comes in a particular language, in a particular fashion, that contains all the quintessence of it. You translate it, of course you can understand it in a better way, but the translation goes in an elaborated manner. But if you know the real upajna with you and you can understand all the things. It may not be in your own language, but still try to understand that. Try to keep it with you so that it helps you in elaborating in a way you want. Try to understand the meanings of those words and the in-between lines of the words that are present there. So, taking notes and understanding the things in our own language is always fine. Is always accented. But forgetting the origin, forgetting the original source is not really good. As long as you have the source, you can have anything. See, if you have the seed, original seed, perfectly protected, and you can sow it in any land you want. Whether it's a red soil, whether it's a black soil, whether it's a wet soil, whether it's a dry soil, or any kind of soil it may be, but as long as you are able to protect the seed perfectly, then you can have the beauties of the seed to be experienced. Try to protect the seed. So the seed, the knowledge, what we call the upajna, is given by the Vedalokacharya in Tamil and in the small sutras. So we call them as sutras. For Astakshari, Dvaimantra and Charama Sloka, he presented such sutras which are collectively called as Mumukshupadi. Okay? And in that Mumukshupadi, we already discussed the first Astakshari and then discussed Dvaimantra, and now we are going to discuss the Charama Sloka. And I tell you the first sutra. What we do now is, we read the sutra for you, you also can repeat the words. Okay? And then we go into elaboration of what exactly it says. So, we tell you the first sutra and also we tell you the last sutra. That means it is done. But in between whatever is there, just we can keep discussing whenever we have time. Okay? Come on, let us repeat the first sutra. First let us prostrate to the great Acharya who out of compassion just gave all the sutras with the Vedalokacharya, surrendered to the lotus feet of Vedalokacharya. Okay? The sloka goes like this with Vedalokacharya. Lokacharyaya Gurave Krishna Padasya Sunave Samsara Bhogi Sandashta Jiva Jivatave Namah Pillai Lokacharya Tiruvadigalе Saranam. The first sutra. Kire Sila Upaya Visheshangalai Upadesika Avai Dussekangal ennum Swarupa Virodhigal என்றும் நினைத்து சோகாவிஷ்டனான அர்ஜுனனை குறித்து அவனுடைய சோக நிவృత్త్యర్థமாக இனி இதுக்கு அவ்வரு இல்லை என்னலாம்படியான சரமோபாயத்தை அருளிச் செய்கையாலே சரம ஸ்லோகம் என்று இது Verai irukiradu. Here is the sutra. All sutras are not this big anyway. The first one is a bit big sutra, right? Other sutras are very, very small also. Just a small word, so like that. I'll tell you the word-to-word meaning, Kire earlier, Sila upaya viseshangarai, a few upayas, that means a few means for the salvation, for breaking the karma bondages, were upadesika. Krishna revealed those things to Arjuna, right? He gave so many means, so many yogas, so many upayas. We call them all upayas. Upaya means a means. Upeya means a goal. So, Sila upaya viseshangarai, a few great upayas were revealed. Upadesika, after revealing all of those upayas, what Arjuna thought was, all those upayas are dussekangal, impossible to practice, and swarupa virodhigal, they are against to my nature. Two things he decided. What are the two things? Number one, avai dussekangal. It's very difficult to practice, one thing. And second thing, they are against to my very nature. My nature is surrenderance. And they are to be done by my own decision. That means independence will be imposed on me then to practice those things. So my nature is dependability. So when I am depending, when I am subserving, then he has to instruct and do. And make me to do. Because the nature of this small piece is not working on its own. No, it never goes like this to the person and fixes in the hand. I go, I pick it up and I hold. It never goes. We know that. That is what we call the dependability. Paratantriyam. Paratantriyam they call it. So that's my nature. But is there something to do by my own effort? So it's not my nature at all. Do karma, kuru karma yodasmatvam, do jnanam, add jnanam, and know it is very good. And then you say, do this and this is property and this is so good. That means I have to do that, I have to surrender, I have to go, I have to practice. So that is Swarupa Viruddha. These two things that what Arjuna decided into the night, deciding thus, Soka Vishnunana, Arjuna started crying. Krishna saw such Arjuna and Arjuna kuritu. Towards such Arjuna, Krishna started talking. What is he talking about? Avanude soka nivrutyarthamaha. To eliminate the sorrow of Arjuna, ini idukku avvarugu illai, and beyond this there is nothing. That whatever I am giving him now, this is the ultimate. Ini idukku, now to this avvarugu illai. There is no beyond this. There is nothing more powerful than this. That kind of means is being given by Lord now. Yannarambadiyan like that. Charamopayatai. There are many means described, but this is the ultimate means. There is no other supreme upaya than this at all. Charamopayatai. Aru Arulichegayale, because Lord is revealing such things, and idukku, to this sloka sarvadharman, Charama Slokam endru perai irukkirathu. Why this sloka is called Charama Sloka? Is the first question here. Charama Slokam is last sloka. Last means. Why it is called last means? Because I have read already many things, and beyond this there is nothing more powerful, and this is the final. So it's called Charama, the final sloka, prayer. Okay? So that is how Krishna, the Pidalakacharya Swami, start talking about the Charama Sloka in the form of sutras. Now, I'll give you last sutra also. Last sutra also. We have already. That's the last one. Vartai arivavar yengira partum antanagi yengira partum idukku arthama anusandeyam. So what they say in the last sutra, there are two songs in Tamil. One is the Vartai Arivavar, that one song, that's the beginning part of the song. And Attanagi, you became my uncle and auntie. Attanagi is another song. That one, idukku, to this Charama Sloka, Arthamaha, Anusandeyam. You can remember or you can compare those two songs, the meaning of those two songs to this Astakshari, and you will have a clarity with that. That's how the sutras are concluded, and let us go through the description after the lunch hour is over. Okay? What is how much time? It's 1:30 now. What time to Krishna again? 2:30? Okay? We start at 2:30. Jai Srimanarayan.